just want to say this, for anybody who's against PBS, it's funny how you guys can be against something that raised your kids when you was absent. And just so y'all know, this video is just going to be like a stream of consciousness, so yeah.
This is PBS.
PBS Kids, if we gonna keep it real, raised a lot of your kids better than you ever could. A lot of y'all delivered your kids in front of the motherfucking TV. PBS Kids is a lot of your kids' mothers, is a lot of your kids' fathers, is a lot of your kids' friends when they didn't know how to make them. PBS is such an integral part of society. And the way a lot of media is getting away with certain lies, the ability for people not to fact check, it's the ability of misinformation spreading because it's more salacious than the truth. The people who are behind the defunding of PBS, NPR, it's asinine to me because defunding PBS is always going to be deeper than anybody realizes, because PBS didn't just teach us ABCs, it raised a whole generation. You know, you had iconic shows like Wishbone, which is about a Jack Russell Terrier who took on different forms of classic literature to make it accessible for us to understand as kids. Because as kids, let's be real, we didn't give no fuck about no Three Musketeers if it was outside of a candy bar. We wasn't thinking about The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow. Reading Rainbow gave a whole generation the keys to their imagination. To dream it, believe it, and then work for it and go after it. Take a look, it's in a fucking book. They spell it out for you. And they got Shaka Khan singing the intro. You got me. PBS made education accessible. And that's so important, especially in underprivileged and rural areas. And when I say underprivileged, we ain't just talking about the ghettos. Them defunding and cutting PBS hurts the people who truly need it the most. PBS has so many integral shows. Like growing up, a kid who was born in '94 like me, I was raised in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, Arthur, Dragon Tales, Wishbone, Reading Rainbow was on. Antique Roadshow after PBS Kids went off, you know, because if you remember back in the day, PBS Kids would run from like, 6 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. and then the adult shows will come on like the PBS News Hour, Antique Roadshow, and like these days you have shows like Finding Your Roots, which is such an important thing. And I think I want to let it be known, PBS and NPR is not going anywhere. It's the Corporation for Public Broadcasting that is shutting down.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
And as always, y'all know I got my notes, but the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which funds NPR and PBS, says it will close down after federal cuts. Pretty much down the line, what's going to happen is certain PBS channels in certain rural areas, people won't get the news the same way. That is life-saving for some people. As I've seen online and the way I've educated myself to understand it, so pretty much you have the federal government, right? They make the donation to the Corporation of Public Broadcasting. And the money that the Corporation of Public Broadcasting gets from the federal government, they send it out to PBS, NPR, and your local stations in your area. PBS and NPR will survive this. Like, I think PBS gets out of all the funding, like, it's like, I would say 13 to 15% of their entire funding. I think NPR is like 2%, but a big allotment of it goes to local stations. So that's where it's gonna cut for people who that's the only channel they have. A lot of people, the only channels they have, not everybody has cable. Not everybody can afford streaming, no matter how cheap you may think it is. You have to be mindful that some people, they only get their weather alerts, the news of what's going on in the nation, through PBS News Hour, which is an unbiased news source to an extent. You know how rare it is in America in 2025 to find something that's fucking unbiased? That's just unapologetically gonna tell you the facts and not gonna sugarcoat it because you like or you're sucking a presidential candidate's dick. As we know, this tactic is not new. You know, so many politicians and higher ups have been trying to defund PBS for so long. They did it during the Reagan administration, which, honey, Reagan is a lot of the reason why we're in the fucking shit show that we're in now. He's definitely looking up at us from the other side. There was the Reagan era. There was an attempt during President Bush and stuff. So many of these asinine ass, backwards ass Congress people and politicians who think like PBS and NPR is this left-wing echo chamber. And it's like, they think it's too woke now all of a sudden. And it's like, that clearly shows me why you need PBS more than anybody, because bitch, there is an education problem in this nation. And PBS is needed more than ever for people who think they have enemies where they do not exist. Education is not the enemy, people. It's your mindset. Because these stations are so important, because if you've ever heard of food deserts, where it's like a sparse area where there's not a lot of grocery stores, where people have to travel further out to get to food, there is so many news deserts in the United States, which is why people get so misinformed. Public radio, and these let people know where they don't have normal stuff like us when natural disasters are coming. Imagine a hurricane is coming, imagine a tornado's coming, and you don't get no motherfucking notification, but you open your door, and next thing you know, bitch, you blown the fuck away. This is important. This is life and death for people who are too old to get out of it. Like, if you have if you have public radio, you can get the notification a couple hours ahead of time, if not a couple days ahead of time, and you can make a run for it. You can get away. But honey, if you don't have this stuff because of budget cuts and defunding, this is gonna cause a lot of casualties. What I realize in today's society, in the politics, is nobody ever gives a fuck until it's you. So many people have voted against their own interests, and it's gonna eventually fuck them. And they think it doesn't matter because it's not touching them today. Bitch, you about to get touched. You guys follow me on TikTok. You guys know that I recently made a TikTok video that went semi-viral, over 100,000 views, of me talking about how if it wasn't for PBS Kids, a lot of people would not like classical literature. If we gonna keep it real, PBS Kids is the reason why so many people love classic literature. When Netflix put out their adaptation of Anne of Green Gables, and there's been so many adaptations, I only knew about Anne because PBS Kids had an animated version of Anne of Green Gables, and it had one of the best theme songs, may I add. It was because of Wishbone, my young ass knew what the Three Musketeers were, the Count of Monte Cristo, and I went for those classic literature books, and then I saw how long the Count of Monte Cristo was, and I put it back. I remember the Halloween specials of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. He covered Sherlock Holmes. Like, anytime to this day, if I see a Jack Russell Terrier, I don't care what the owner name says it is, it's Wishbone. Reading Rainbow is the one that introduced me to the iconic book, Miss Nelson is Missing. If it wasn't for PBS instilling certain stories in us from a young age, honey, a lot of us wouldn't know the classics the way we do today. As quiet as it's kept, a lot of kids weren't raised with tutors. Some of y'all were raised by PBS, if we gonna keep it real. You had Arthur, you had Wishbone, you had Dragon Tales, you had LeVar Burton, you had Mr. Rogers, you had Sesame Street, which Sesame Street was created for inner city kids who didn't get the same educational values that a lot of the kids who were privileged got. Sesame Street was, let's be real, was created for the people of colors, and that shit blew the fuck up because it had soul to it. We had PBS Kids, a library card, and a dream, and we made shit happen, whether you liked it or not. And PBS in general was teaching us how to see, how to feel, and how to just imagine, which is greatly missing from today's generation. What other shows are you gonna get where a dog can introduce your kids and actually make them focus on Frankenstein, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow? Like, are you kidding me? Shit like Reading Rainbow, they made you see beyond the word, because a lot of times when a child sees a book, all they see is a bunch of words that they gotta get through. They're not thinking about their mind's eye in a picture that they want to see from these words. It's really a sad day in a nation where you have these old wrinkle-ass adults who are 10 seconds away from death's doorstep, that they want to get rid of sources that educated so many kids and adults, because after PBS Kids went off, they had PBS News, Antique Roadshow, they had Masterpiece Theater, they had so many shows and of high quality. They were good quality shows. So it's just a sad state to be in. PBS was one of those stations that made you compassionate because it showed you different kids from different walks of life. I'm sorry if you guys can hear my fan in the background, but it's hot as fuck. Anyway, PBS made you a critical thinker. It made you be like, okay, this is what they're saying. What's the deeper layer to it? What are they saying in between the lines? You know, what is empathy? How does it feel from somebody else's perspective? Public broadcasting is such an underrated cheat code. So many people don't realize it's important to have. What public broadcasting educationally brought to so many of us kids who were in certain environments and stuff is what the wealthy and the privileged had. They just didn't need public broadcasting because they were privatizing it. PBS was an outlet to give their kids a head start before they even entered school. It made kids feel like they were having fun, but they were really learning. That is powerful because sometimes you can set something in front of a kid and they're not going to want to get into it. However, if you can make a kid think they're having fun while they're doing something educational, you got them. You got them. That's a powerful thing. Also, even though I'm venting about it and I'm so upset about it, I want it to be known, like PBS said on all their platforms, we are defunded, not defeated. Defeated and defunded are two different things. That's when it comes into slogans that we all grew up hearing, like, this program has been made possible from viewers like you. This is where sometimes outside of Netflix, Hulu, HBO, that be showing the same old reruns, Disney Plus, which is just a glorified babysitter of nostalgia, because that shit gets old and they barely do anything past season 2 or 1. It's time for us to be the viewers.
Zaboomafoo was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hell, I donate to PBS once a month, $5, you know, because I got bills too. We can't backtrack on our own bills. However, we can try to make a difference. We can try to make an effort if you can't afford to. I donate $5 a month and they give you a PBS passport. And when I say donate, I donate to my local PBS. So if I'm in the Midwest or in Wisconsin, I donate to my Milwaukee PBS channel. And wherever you are, you all have your own like PBS station. Donate to your personal station around in your area. And you know, $5, you know, something's better than nothing. And if you can't donate something, word of mouth, spread it why PBS is important. Do the viewership, watch it, ratings are important, but make a difference. And when you donate your $5, if you can do that, because I'm never one to hold somebody to the fire about donation because bills be getting high, they give you a PBS passport, which allows you to watch all their entire library of content. And as we both know, PBS got hella fucking content. I'm a big ass PBS kid at heart. I'ma always watch it. Like, bitch, I grew up on it all. Dragon Tales, Arthur, of course, Clifford's Puppy Days. Don't get me started, Zaboomafoo. Hey y'all, editing me here. As you see, I got my dirty shirt on. I didn't mention a lot of the shows that I grew up on because I recorded that at like 2 in the morning and my brain was all over the place. So with editing me here, I want to list some of the shows that I grew up watching. The Big Comfy Couch, The Naughty Shop, that's an obscured one a lot of y'all won't know about. Thomas and Friends, I always found that to be creepy with the face. Shining Time Station, Sagwa. Sagwa's the reason why I know how to sing. They be like, Afanyo, Sagwasha, Washa, Hafanyo. Like, bitch, I thought I was lit when I learned that. Maya and Miguel, it showed me the perspective of a Latin household. Sesame Street, multicultural. It taught you about death. It taught you about buying things. And the way Grover would get on that one patron's nerve when he would be a waiter. Oh, classic. Oscar the Grouch. Now that I'm older, I get his attitude. I get his mood. I just understand it. Mr. Rogers, kindness goes a long way. Bill Nye the Science Guy, science. The world the way you want the world to treat you, because we won't have it forever if we keep up the way we are. Teletubbies, weird shit. Angelina Ballerina, Jakers, The Adventures of Piggly was about a grandpa pig who would tell his grandkids from America about his days as a young child in Ireland. Mary Lewis and Lamb Chop, iconic. This is the song that never ends. Bananas and Pajamas are coming down the stairs. I had the pajamas too, by the way. The Kraft Brothers, A Gay Awakening. Barney taught kindness. All the songs, Barney would be dropping bars. JJ the Jet Plane. More cartoons that had creepy faces, didn't get into it. Cyber Chase taught me math skills. Between the Lion, reading, which because of PBS, when I was in 2nd grade, I was reading at a 5th grade level. Like, one thing about it, a bitch may stutter, but I understood reading comprehension. Magic School Bus, science, every day's an adventure. PBS is so fundamental. So fundamental, and I am so grateful for having a childhood before social media took over, where I had to sit down in front of the TV, and after TV time was over, I had to get outside and make some adventures of my own. I had to find something to do. I'm so grateful for PBS, and I'm gonna continue donating, because if I can buy DoorDash, if I can have Netflix that has nothing but reruns and cancel shows after one season, I can donate to PBS. And that's just me holding myself accountable. PBS has done so much, and I'm not gonna be one of them hoes that leave it by the wayside. So now that I said that, we can get back into the last couple minutes of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite PBS show is. And these are my last thoughts I have about them defunding PBS. You have adults who will demonize kids shows before they will demonize a predator they put on the highest pedestal in a nation.